The Apple Watch Ultra 3 might have a new satellite messaging capabilities and a high blood pressure detection. According to reports, Apple is getting ready to release the third-generation Apple Watch Ultra this year, which may have significant new capabilities aimed at health monitoring and communication. Among other things, according to Bloomberg, who said that the Apple Watch Ultra 3 will include satellite-based communications and high blood pressure monitoring. The study indicates Apple will include blood pressure monitoring features to the next Apple Watch Ultra. Like the way sleep apnea detection is done, this function will not provide exact blood pressure measurements, but will alert users if indications of hypertension are found. Though the gadget is not meant to show certain diastolic or systolic values, it will notify users if abnormal blood pressure patterns are seen. Gurman said the function will track blood pressure patterns and let users know if indications of hypertension show, even though it won't provide exact systolic and diastolic readings. Given that excessive blood pressure often goes unnoticed until it causes major diseases like heart damage or stroke, this might be a possibly life-saving feature if included. Though the latter is now off in the US because of continuing patent concerns, Apple's smartwatches already include health functions like atrial fibrillation alarms, ECG capability, and blood oxygen monitoring. The integration of hypertension monitoring would further bolster Apple's health-focused solutions, which have often proved helpful in emergency medical circumstances. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 is also claimed to add satellite messaging functionality created in conjunction with Globalstar, the same satellite operator Apple works with for iPhone's emergency SOS feature. This would enable users to send text messages via the watch, even while beyond the range of cellular or Wi-Fi networks, allowing off-the-grid communication. However, the functionality will likely be offered only in specific locations upon launch. Apple may possibly add 5G connection to the Watch Ultra 3 via 5G RedCap, reduced capability. This technology is meant to bridge the gap between full-fledged 5G and LTE, enabling better performance while keeping energy efficiency, ideal for wearables like the Apple Watch. Previous Ultra variants had been restricted to 4G LTE. This third update also focuses on connection. Whereas earlier Apple Watch Ultra versions have been confined to 4G LTE connection, Apple hopes to offer 5G to the Ultra 3 this year. This update will apparently take the shape of 5G RedCap. A less power-hungry variant of 5G RedCap can attain the same top speeds as your iPhone's 5G, but it will guarantee your watch doesn't suffer a significant battery hit either. While substantial design changes are not anticipated, Apple might add small tweaks to the casing or materials and give new strap choices for the third-generation Ultra. Internally, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 may potentially contain a bigger battery. Next, forget about the Apple Watch Ultra 3 because a new model with cameras might be more closer than we expected. Following suggestions that Apple might add a camera to its Apple Watch range in future, a new study indicates processors for the gadget could be ready for debut by 2027, indicating the significant update could be much closer than we expected. Previously, it was disclosed that Apple is preparing a huge update to its finest Apple Watches, transform it into a gadget with integrated cameras. The Apple Watch will employ inbuilt cameras and microphones that would help the device see the outside world and use AI to deliver relevant information. Now at the same source, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman claims the microprocessor that drives that gadget might be only 18 months away. The company is developing a chip called Nevis for the camera-equipped Apple Watch and a component named Glenny for the similarly outfitted AirPods. Gurman said in his weekly Power On newsletter. Apple is aiming to have those chips ready by around 2027, he stated. While we knew the predicted 2025 greatest Apple Watch lineup, the Apple Watch SE 3, Apple Watch Series 11, and Apple Watch Ultra 3, wouldn't contain cameras, as Gurman had previously stated a camera-equipped Apple wearable was generations away. Turns out, he could have simply meant 2 generations away, which implies that for most customers, the next Apple Watch you purchase might feature a camera. As we've previously mentioned, a wearable AI wristwatch may give users with contextual information about places they visit on vacation, directions, and more. It's a notion that drove several unsuccessful wearables, like the Humane AI Pin, and would draw heavily on Apple's great current Apple Intelligence feature, Visual Intelligence. Longer term, it might be part of a future recently hinted to by Apple's Eddy Cue, who commented off the cuff that we might not need the greatest iPhones 10 years from now. Cue made his statements in the context of the fast-growing AI sector, so it's vital not to infer too much from them. However, an AI-powered wristwatch, or possibly lightweight smart glasses, which Apple is also working on, might easily be one such item that unlocks that iPhone-less future. A more cynical approach would reveal that Apple and Cue's comments are probably just a ruse to stop the US Department of Justice from blowing up its $20 billion deal with Google for the default spot as the iPhone's search engine, presumably in the hope the court is less likely to intervene if it thinks the iPhone is a dying breed. It seems doubtful Apple will discard its obscenely profitable iPhone ecosystem in favor of a niche wearable that remains an iPhone accessory at this time. More likely, a camera-equipped Apple Watch would simply be one more function on the iPhone's already understandable companion. In other words, another incentive for people to consider forking out for one of the finest iPhones. Finally, Apple's Glowtime launch event happened on September 9, 2024, when we witnessed the introduction of the Apple Watch 10 and iPhone 16. For aficionados of Apple's higher-end smartwatches, meanwhile, there was no new Ultra model, simply a new case color and strap choice. Analyst Eddy Cue suggested the reason we didn't see the Apple Watch Ultra 3 in 2024 was due to Apple's requiring more time to create innovative health management features. Whatever the cause, we'll likely see the Watch Ultra 3 appear in September 2025 with the iPhone 17 family. The pricing is slightly tougher to judge, but we can make a judgment based on the fact the previous two generations cost $799, and it seems doubtful Apple would boost this already high price of entry by much. By contrast, the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra dramatically undercuts Apple's Ultra versions at $649. Given Apple has kept with basically the same design across its first 10 years of wristwatch manufacture, it would be unexpected if the firm was contemplating substantial changes for the appearance of the Watch Ultra 3. However, there is one eyebrow-raising rumor concerning its look. According to the supply chain industry research company TrendForce, the next model will be even larger than the Apple Watch Ultra 2 with its massive 1.93-inch display. The study, from December 2023, so a long time ago, suggests the Apple Watch Ultra 3 screen would increase roughly 10%, coming in at 2.12 inches. The current model already feels huge on the wrist. Our wearables expert Kate Kozuch talks of the need to occasionally take it off at night for a decent night's rest, so that seems like a bold step. But it's not apparent at this moment how much of that size increase can be accomplished by lowering the watch's bezels or whether Apple has inventive methods to minimize the weight, so it's better to maintain an open mind for now. There's also a potential that the Ultra 3 may launch with a smaller case size, akin to the Series 10, which is 1 millimeter thinner than the Series 9, and many grams lighter. One of the strangest Apple Watch Ultra 3 rumors flying around is the presence of an inbuilt camera near the watch's crown on the side of the device. This camera wouldn't be used for picture production, but rather for visual AI research, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. Another huge spec boost we've heard about is from TrendForce projecting the Apple Watch Ultra will include microLED technology in its screen. That would potentially give it the ability to be both brighter and thinner than OLED, which might be quite a substantial advance. However, this specific claim appears a bit more dubious because another source stated that we may have to wait until 2026 for a microLED Apple Watch screen. More likely, the Ultra 3 will have an updated display akin to the wide-angle LTOP OLED screen in the Series 10 with greater viewing angles for enhanced at-a-glance reading. However, peak brightness will likely stay same compared to the Ultra 2 at 3000 nits. Other changes that the Ultra 3 will likely inherit from the Series 10 include a bigger charging coil on the case back for better charging rates, and the incorporation of Apple's newest S10 processor, which boasts a dedicated 4-core neural engine for machine learning applications. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.